want to release weight and up your energy for good, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Shani and I've helped my clients release 10 to 35 pounds, increase their energy levels and transform how they feel in their body using a root cause approach to health. So last week's video, I was talking about identity and choosing from the place of being the woman that has the body, that has the health, and choosing what she would be doing now. So being aware of the identity you want to be, the body you want to have, how you want to feel, what you want to be doing, that's all well and good. But when things come up in life, when you're triggered, when something's not going so well, when you're in a stress state, it's easy to drop back into that old identity. And that's what I found for myself. And you may have experienced that too. So what I found super helpful for me and super important actually to be able to shift back into that identity was becoming more aware of what I was feeling, becoming more aware of what I was focused on. And I've seen this with my clients too. Those that are very much more intentional in following the steps to become more aware, they are able to shift into that new identity when they're triggered. When something comes up, when they're a bit more in a stress state, they're able to shift back out of it and into that new identity way sooner. Realistically, the goal isn't to be in that new identity 100% to start off with immediately, because this old identity is shifting. It's about being there more often. There will be times when you'll fall back into the old identity. There will be times that things will come up in life which will just pull you into thinking like, oh, I can never lose weight, oh, my energy is always low, I've got to fix this, I've got to do something about this. But when we become more aware, we can start to see that we are thinking that way, or that we're having these thoughts, or we're having this focus. And becoming aware that we're doing that is the first step. When we're aware, then we can have a process in place, have some steps in place to implement a shift into that new identity. For me, one of the big challenges that I had early on in my health journey was that I was always tired. I woke up tired, I moved through the day tired, in the evenings I would just pretty much not want to do anything. And so I had this identity that I was always tired, and that didn't serve me and it didn't help me. But I wasn't even aware that I was thinking that way. I wasn't even aware that I was focused that way until I was intentional with increasing my level of awareness. And so what did I do to support me with my level of awareness? And for me personally, it was meditation. I had heard about meditation and I'd kind of thought it wasn't for me because I can't really sit still and do this. And some years ago, I heard about Ziva meditation, and I loved the fact that in there, Emily Fletcher, she explains the science of meditation. That helped me understand it better, and it helped me understand how it would support my body. I read her book and I did her training course, and with that it was literally life-changing for me, because not only for the first time was I able to consistently meditate for myself, I was then able to start creating some space between something happening, like a stimulus, and then me responding to it. And so by creating that space, it meant that I was able to choose more consciously. I had that space to choose with more intention and choose from that newer identity. Not only with my meditation did I naturally start to increase my energy levels, but I also was more aware of the things that were draining me, the things that were sucking energy out of me, and then I was able to, in the moment, choose differently. So I started becoming more aware of the self-doubt I had, the thoughts that were going on in my head that would be mentally draining me, exhausting me physically as well. And so I was choosing them less often. I was aware of the choices maybe that I would go to that weren't serving me. Maybe it would be scrolling on the phone. Maybe it was choosing foods that weren't serving me. As I became more aware, I was able to see why was I choosing to scroll and what did I need instead, and became more aware of giving myself something else instead of an instant fix of like scrolling. So if that was I wanted to go and do some movement, or if I wanted to go outside and get some sunshine, if I wanted to go for a walk, or if I wanted to cuddle my dog, or if I needed to put on a song and dance around the house. And so when it comes to health, when it comes to the body, the journey isn't about doing everything perfectly or anything perfectly even. It's about how often can you consistently return back there and choose differently and choose more and more of what supports your body. And so when you become more aware, when you're increasing your level of awareness, you're then able to see, am I choosing something from my old way of being? Am I choosing this just because it's an unconscious way of being, habitual patterning? Is it because I'm needing something else and I'm just used to choosing food or scrolling or choosing to kind of numb myself with these other things? When you're becoming more aware, you can choose, well, I'm intentionally choosing to go and spend maybe 5 minutes on scrolling, but I'm going to choose 5 minutes and I'm going to stop. Or I'm going to choose to go and have a piece of chocolate, but then you're able to choose a piece of chocolate and stop instead of having like bar after bar. And so sometimes it can be easy to think that there's something wrong with you, you're broken, things are never going to go right because you're on a level of autopilot, automatically choosing things, unconsciously choosing things from your old way of being, from this old identity that you want to get out of. And you want to step into this new identity, but it's harder to choose consistently from that identity. And if your level of awareness isn't so great, that as things are happening throughout the day, as you're making choices, that you're trying to depend on willpower, determination, like forcing yourself to choose a certain way. But when you shift to increasing your level of awareness, you then can choose with intention versus like I have to force myself. You can choose with intention, and your intention may be that I am the woman that supports my body well, that takes care of herself, that prioritizes herself, that gives her nourishing things, gives her nourishing foods, that gives her high quality things, meets her needs and values herself, and that has high standards. And so when you're moving from that place, it's easier to choose with intention versus trying to force yourself. And the more aware you are, the more you can be intentional about choosing those things. For me, meditation was literally game changing. It gave me that space between something coming up, maybe a stimulus, a trigger, because triggers are going to happen. That's normal, it's part of life. The trigger allows us to recognize that we are reacting to something, that there is some story or something that we're holding that's making us react to this in a certain way. But what I found with having a consistent meditation practice was that I was then able to go from a place of more often reacting to the stimulus, reacting to the trigger, to creating space, and then being able to see that yes, maybe I am feeling triggered, but what can I choose instead? Instead of reacting, what can I choose instead? And how can I move into a response that honors my standards and honors my values and honors me being that woman that I'm stepping into? And so, like I said before, it's not about doing any of this perfectly. The focus really is on how quickly can you just return into stepping into that identity. It's not about doing anything perfectly. It's not about doing anything exactly correctly. It's about making progress and returning to that new identity, stepping into the identity you want to be more consistently and more often. As you become more aware, it's easier to shift out of the all or nothing, thinking that I've got to do it all right, or I might as well not do it at all, or that I'm failing if I'm not doing this right. And instead, you can start to be more compassionate to yourself and recognize that, okay, that's what happened, and now it's like, let me step back. So I would love to ask you, what if you didn't have to focus on motivating yourself? What if you didn't have to focus on being super disciplined in something? What if the focus was more in you being the woman, becoming more aware and being able to shift back to the identity that you want to be? Shift back into that when something comes up. How would that feel to you? And what would support you in doing that? And so I know I mentioned Ziva meditation. That was what helped me to start being able to meditate for myself, to start having a practice in meditation. That is definitely not the only way. I think it's really about practicing, trying different things out and seeing what works best for you. For me, I guess with me, I love science, I love understanding things. It just really supported me to have a good background. But it's about you having a practice for yourself, something that supports you and going from there. At the same time, meditation isn't the only thing that allows us to increase our level of awareness. There are other ways, so it could be finding a different tool, finding a different practice that supports you. If you enjoyed this topic, this is the kind of discussion that we have in my school community, Journey of You, Women's Wellness. We do monthly themed 7-day resets. So do check out the link in the comments below and come and join us there if this is something you're interested in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, ring the notification bell, and subscribe to stay on top of future videos. Until next week.